Hello, if you don't know me, I'm Lush. I'm a top 500/champion Lifeweaver player. I've been playing Overwatch for about 10 years now, and I often stream on Twitch and make YouTube content here on the YouTubes. I've been getting a lot of questions during my streams and in my comments lately about what settings, controls, and keybinds I use for Lifeweaver. So today, I'm going to show you the best settings that I personally use and recommend, along with a breakdown of what each setting actually does and why I have it set the way I do. If you're looking to get better at Lifeweaver, or just want to watch more educational content, I have a whole playlist on my YouTube, including a 40-minute long in-depth guide, which should cover basically everything you'll ever need to know about Lifeweaver. First up, let's cover what the best control scheme is to be using on Lifeweaver. If you don't know, Lifeweaver has two control schemes available to use for him. One is the original controls, what came out with his release, called Legacy Controls, and the second is a set of controls they updated him to a couple of months after his release. Neither is perfect, both has pros and cons, but I feel like the Legacy Controls are objectively better for Lifeweaver. I didn't use them for the longest time, and I tried Legacy Controls 2 or 3 times before I actually stuck with them. They feel clunky at first, but once you get used to them, they feel fine. And you get to have your dash on shift, so you can instantly dash. Having to double jump to dash makes your dash more predictable, take longer to activate, and you can accidentally activate it mid-air. You can also buffer dash. If you hold shift, it will dash the moment the ability is available. And since we're not talking about what's the most comfortable controls to be using for Lifeweaver, I'm not going to cover the new controls and just recommend that you use the Legacy Controls to get as much strength and value out of Lifeweaver as possible. It would be much better if they combined both into a new perfect control scheme, but it's been a long time and they don't seem to be doing that, so we're going to have to work with what we've got. So you'll want to open Options, go to the Hero tab, select Lifeweaver, and then enable the Legacy Control scheme here. This will put your dash on shift, and for some reason it puts Pell onto secondary fire, so just be aware that secondary fire is Pell, which is a weird key binding, but we can just change the keybinds to make them similar to the new controls and much easier to use and adjust to if you're changing from the new controls. For the keybinds, I like to keep Life Grip on E, and for controller, move it onto the left stick click. This keeps Life Grip on controller always one click away, as your left thumb will always be on the left analog stick. Since left stick is interact by default for controller, I've moved that up on the D-pad as well. For Tree of Life, this doesn't matter much. I have it on middle mouse button because that's why I have all my heroes' ultimates on, and you can keep it on Y for controller, or use whatever you want as long as it doesn't interfere with the other keybinds. For Interact on PC it's the same, and as I said before, it's up on the D-pad for controller. Primary fire on Legacy Controls is what you'll use to both shoot your fawns and shoot your healing blossoms, which I've just left as default as that's the best keybind for it. For secondary fire, since we're using Legacy Controls now, this isn't going to be our fawns anymore, and is now actually our Pell, so we're going to change it to something what's more intuitive for an ability use. For PC, I have this on mouse wheel down, and for controller, I have this on right bumper. For weapon 1, 2, quick melee and reload, you can leave these on the defaults. The last thing we need to rebind is next weapon. This is what you'll use to swap between your fawns and your healing blossoms now that you're on Legacy Controls. To make for a more comfortable and intuitive experience, and if you're transitioning from new controls to Legacy Controls, to make that process easier, I recommend putting it on right click, or if you're on console, left trigger, as this will feel a lot better to you as it's closer to the new control scheme. Once you're done, in game it will look like this. Shift will be your dash, E will be your pull, scroll wheel down will be to use Pell, F will be interact to destroy it, right click will be to swap weapon modes between fawns and healing blossoms, and left click will be to heal and to shoot. And then to use your ultimate, you can use Q, the default, or if you like it like me, you can use it on the middle mouse. For controller, it will be left bumper for dash, left stick click for life grip, right bumper for Pell, up to destroy it, and Y to use your tree. Left stick press here being bound to life grip for controller is so strong, and the most important one. If you only use one of these keybinds, I highly encourage you to use this one, as life grip being just one click away with no movement required makes for a super fast pull and can lead to some clutch saves. and it can avoid some try to pause they die moments while all too common on Lifeweaver. Next up, I'll cover all the hero-specific sayings for Lifeweaver and what the best options are. Hello, Editing Glush here. I may have forgot to cover one of the Lifeweaver sayings, but I have a good reason, okay? It's because it doesn't exist anymore. So, there used to be an option called Secondary Fire Cancels Primary Fire when using Manual Swap, which is a really long name for a saying, and basically it used to allow you to, when you're out of healing ammo, throw a Pell, and then it would let you charge another Healing Blossom, even though you're at 0 ammo. You can still do this in the game now, but the saying has been stealthily removed from the game. So if you see an old Lifeweaver guide, maybe even one of mine, which covers this saying, just ignore that. You don't need to know about this saying or do anything. It doesn't exist anymore, so don't worry about it. First up, you'll want to head back to Options and over to Hero, where we turned on the legacy controls earlier. For Tree of Life confirmation input down here, I like to put this on ability free release instead of primary fire. This makes it so, as soon as you let go of the button or key you use for your tree, the tree is planted instantly. This is great for last second clutch tree saves, as it's so fast to place the tree. Or if you want to use your tree proactively against the enemy team, you can use it to block a doorway instantly the moment an enemy walks through it, before they can retreat. Next up is Healing Blossom and Life Grip sensitivity. I like to leave these at 100, as lowering them seems to do more harm than good. The lower you go, the harder it is for you to heal someone and life grip them, as the closer your crosshair has to be to target, which can make it harder to heal people in emergencies or life grip them out of danger, as you have to be super close. Also, if you have a mismatch between the sayings, this can lead to some jankiness and confusion with the AI, as it will appear and disappear depending on whether you're holding Blossom or not. If I don't hold Blossom, I have Life Grip set at 10% right now, so it only shows up, the blue square, when I get close to them. But if I start to charge a Blossom, it will show up from further away. And you might see the blue square and think, oh, that means I can Life Grip them. But no, I can't, because it's at a different sensitivity, which is just confusing, and you don't want to have to deal with that. So I recommend just leaving them both on 100. Now you'll want to open the Advanced tab and turn on Interact Cancels Pell Platform. It's off by default, and without it on, you won't be able to destroy your Pell. So if an enemy decides to use it or use it as high ground against your team, you won't be able to stop them. So you'll basically be working for the enemy team. So it's really important to make sure you have this on. If an enemy tries to use it now, you can simply destroy it. This saying should really be on by default. For Fawn aim sensitivity, this decides what your sensitivity is when you're using your fawns. If you want to be more accurate with your fawns, you can lower this, but it will mean that your sensitivity will be different between the two, and it might be a little janky to deal with. I recommend just keeping them the same. For Tree of Life cancel input, you'll want to leave this on ability free. All this does is it decides if you can destroy your tree or not by pressing the ultimate button again. With it off, if you place your tree, you can't destroy it, which I don't know why you would ever want to not be able to do. And then the rest don't really matter on here, so we can close the Advanced tab. Last of all is your crosshair under Reticle. If you want to have a different crosshair or a different colour, depending on whether you're on Healing Blossoms or Fawn Volley, you can do that here. You can change the entire crosshair or just the colour. For example, if I select Healing Blossom, open this tab, and make it magenta, now when I swap between modes, it will change colour depending on whether I'm on Healing Blossoms or Fawns. This can make it easier to tell which mode you're on, just by looking at your crosshair. That's all the most important Lifeweaver sayings and the best recommendations I have for them. If you found this video helpful, a like or subscribe is very appreciated. And if you know any Lifeweaver sayings or tips I forgot to include in this video, please comment them below. I'd love to hear them, and for this video to be as helpful as possible. Before I go, I'd like to give a big shout out to my YouTube members. Thank you RebirthFlame01, EluJubre7262, Veryhand, Foster Ceramics, and Sophia Ash15. I've been Lush, your friendly neighbourhood dog weaver, and I'll see you all next video. Bye!